Tulsa King Season 2 Episode 9 opens with the Native Americans honoring Jimmy, who was shot dead outside the marijuana shop the previous time. The others, including Dwight, are also present and share in the sorrow. Jimmy held Dwight in high regard as a leader, and his mother is the first of many people in the community to seek retribution for his passing. Since they are now at war, Dwight assures them that this is unquestionably happening. The Mile warriors are offered to Dwight in order to strengthen their ranks. Every country united under a single objective. Hey, hello everybody, hope you are having a good day. Before going to the main topic, I want to say like this video and subscribe to the channel. Bodhi holds himself responsible for what transpired and suffers from survivor's guilt. There is obviously a lot of guilt in the car, but the others are quick to dismiss this line of thought. Unfortunately, Armand, who is undecided about whether to flee or not, could be the target of all of this. Ultimately, he comes to the realization that there isn't really somewhere else to go. When Dwight learns that he has stolen little more than $500,000 from his boss, he will not be pleased. However, he is currently focused on Bevilacqua. By persuading Dwight to rejoin them, Vince gives Chicky a means of returning. Given that Dwight despises him, Vince believes Chicky could be more successful in convincing him to come here. He wants to regain control of Tulsa. Bevilacqua knows that this miscommunication is going to blow up in his face. He wants to try to stop Thresher's first error before it gets out of control and blood starts to spill onto the streets. Thresher visits Bevilacqua that evening. He knows he built his own bed here, so he only has himself to blame, and he's had enough of Thresher's gaming. Additionally, Bevilacqua threatens to shoot him in the head if he is not careful. Unavoidably, Thresher dismisses the threats and thinks he might know how to reach Dwight. When he visits Margaret, he discloses that Ming is more dangerous than he initially believed and that he is also pursuing Margaret's property. The best way to resolve this is to arrange a meeting to clear up this misunderstanding and aim all of the resentment and hostility towards Ming rather than Bevilacqua. Of course, the only person who can actually communicate with Dwight is Margaret. Margaret explains that she is not the only owner of the ranch she owns. As you can see, Cal Thresher and I share ownership, and he later joins Ming in a package. Chicky tries to book a flight, but discovers that the TSA has blocked him, thus he is unable to do so. In relation to it, Armand arrives to greet Ming and informs him that Dwight is pursuing him. He gives him details about the ranch and how he can assist in bringing Dwight and Margaret down in a single blow. Dwight and Bevilacqua are waiting at the ranch when Armand takes the others there that evening. They kill Ming's thugs with ease, but Ming is left alive, so they may question him. It's clear that this spontaneous partnership was not anticipated at the beginning of the season, yet here we are. Dwight determines it's time to wrap this up, since Ming is confined. He gives Tyson the axe that Jimmy's mother gave him and explains that it is justified. Ming is killed with a single, well-placed blow to the skull, and he falls directly into the open grave. As it happens, Armand returned to Dwight despite being aware of his liability. Instead of killing him as he had intended, Dwight used him as bait to make amends. As it happens, Armand returned to Dwight despite being aware of his liability. Instead of killing him as he had intended, Dwight used him as bait to make amends. While Dwight himself goes back home to visit Margaret, Chicky travels to Tulsa to speak with him. He affirms that there is no harm and that the mission accomplished has been achieved. Therefore, it appears that everything is going well for Dwight and his crew now that Ming is dead and a type of truce has been planned between the parties. Unfortunately, rather than the spectacular shootout we may have anticipated, the situation is settled in a fairly straightforward manner. Although it's not exactly a subverted conclusion, it is a little disappointed that there wasn't a bigger spectacle than everyone banding together to pursue Ming. It will be intriguing to observe Dwight's decision regarding his future in Tulsa in light of the events that have transpired over the season. Are he going to return to Chicky and the others? Or will he go on and establish his own empire? Naturally, we'll have to wait and see, but everything is perfectly set up for the conclusion thus far. On November 10th, 2024, Tulsa King Season 2 Episode 9 was made available on Paramount+. One of the most infamous characters in the popular series, Jackie Ming, passed away in the most recent episode. As a result, Tyson eventually gets to exact revenge on Ming for his father's mistreatment. Additionally, Kat Thresher, Bill Bevilacqua, and the General collaborate in episode 9. By the end of the episode, Dwight has eliminated Ming, as the three of them have decided to do instead of continuing to fight. Tulsa King Season 2's last episode, which is slated to air on November 17, 2024 at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, will be noteworthy since it will not only mark the end of the season, but also perhaps depict Chicky and Dwight's confrontation. For the past 2 seasons, the two have been growing more antagonistic. On Sunday, November 17, 2024, the final episode of Tulsa King will premiere exclusively on Paramount Plus at 3 a.m. Eastern Time. The forthcoming episode's release date, time, and associated time zones are listed in the table below. Season 2's most recent episodes will only be accessible on Paramount Plus. This streaming service offers access to a large selection of television series and films for $7.99 a month or $59.99 a year. They will also be aired by a few traditional cable TV providers who have agreements with Paramount. Jimmy is given a burial in the most recent episode of the show, and Dwight and the others swear retaliation. As the episode goes on, Thresher persuades Bill and Dwight that if they wish to keep their company operating in Tulsa, Ming must be stopped right away because it is growing quickly. While attempting to flee Tulsa after robbing Dwight, Manny changes his mind. He goes back to the General and begs for his pardon. But Dwight has a strategy in mind. Manny approaches Jackie Ming and entices him to Margaret's farm, claiming that he could kill Dwight there with ease. But there, Ming's troops are attacked, and Tyson uses an axe to kill him. Chicky is planning to murder Dwight in order to return to Tulsa at the same time. Chicky is seen traveling to Tulsa in the last scenes of Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 9. By bringing Tulsa to the table, he hopes to assassinate Dwight and regain his position in the mob. Therefore, Chicky's direct confrontation with the General may be depicted in the Tulsa King Season 2 finale. But it will be a difficult task. Dwight has declared a ceasefire with Bill and Thresher. Therefore, Chicky's complete collapse may be depicted in the season finale. In addition, the Tulsa and Kansas mafias may form a new alliance with the New York Mafia. A recurrent subject in Tulsa King Season 2 has been interpersonal interactions. The conclusion may provide insight into Dwight's current status with Tina and Margaret. Finally, Manny's character arc might come to a close. Tulsa King Season 2 Episode 8 revealed that Armand had taken almost $500,000 from Dwight. He was in a desperate predicament, but he knew Dwight would find him. Cal went to Bill in the interim and informed him that Ming had requested that his guys place a bomb in Dwight's vehicle. Bill became furious and informed Cal that vehicle. Bill became furious and told Cal that he had made a grave error. Dwight, however, prepared to defend his region because he understood that war was unavoidable. Let's review the main points of Episode 9 to see how Dwight handles the challenges he faces. Cal had recognized in the last episode that his partner had made a grave error by attempting to murder Dwight. Even though Cal didn't like Dwight, he took care to avoid doing anything that might lead to Dwight pursuing him. Cal grew very nervous after learning that Jackie, his partner, had attempted to assassinate Dwight. He was aware that Dwight would come if he found out what he had done, and most likely not leave him alive. In order to put things right, Cal went to Bill in the last episode and expressed his desire to change the way things had turned out. In Season 2, Episode 9, Cal, Bill, and Dwight first met. It was then that Cal revealed to Dwight that his partner, Jackie Ming, had dispatched his men to assassinate him. Cal was informed by Dwight that he would consider his options regarding Cal, Bill, and whether or not he wanted to work with them. Cal may have opposed Dwight from the start of Season 2, but he didn't want to escalate the conflict. Being a businessman, he did perceive Dwight's presence as a danger. Nevertheless, he wanted to make sure Dwight was aware that he was incapable of pursuing his life. Therefore, Cal and Dwight didn't truly get back together, but I think they will in the upcoming episodes. Dwight is a reasonable man, and I doubt he would oppose them now that he is aware that Cal and Bill were not responsible for the attack. At this point, Armand was desperate. In the last episode, he had done the unthinkable. Knowing the penalties, he had dared to steal from Dwight Manfredi. Initially, Armand went to Ming and pledged his loyalty to him. Armand assured Ming that he would assist him in getting rid of every barrier. Ming was aware that if he could, with Armand's assistance, his life would be considerably easier if Dwight were permanently eliminated. Ming misjudged Armand. He had no idea what a cunning man he was. Furthermore, I think that Ming misjudged Armand and didn't expect that he could fool him in this way. Ming told Dwight what he was doing, and Armand set the trap for him. Ming was a tough foe, and in my opinion, he was more deadly than Bill and Cal put together. Ming was a sadistic individual who killed and tortured people without hesitation. In his presence, even a man like Cal felt intimidated. The way that Ming threw Cal out of his own firm was already disclosed in the previous episode. I think Ming's overconfidence ultimately led to his downfall. He didn't understand why Dwight was called the General, and he underestimated his opponents. Dwight was a man of integrity, and because of his prior actions, people like Chicky were still hesitant to confront him. Tyson was given the chance to deal with the man who had attempted to kill his father after Dwight apprehended Ming. Dwight, on the other hand, got rid of someone who would have eventually become a bother for him, but Tyson killed Jackie Ming and ultimately exacted his revenge. By the end of episode 9, Dwight appears to have a clear path ahead of him. Although there is undoubtedly a conflict of interest between him and Cal, I believe that they will finally reconcile. In hindsight, Cal most likely wouldn't have opposed Dwight. Cal's insecurities caused him to act in ways that made Dwight his worst enemy. As everyone recalls, at the start of Season 2, Dwight went up to Cal, who reacted so angrily that Dwight couldn't figure out what he had done to cause such a reaction. Being an insecure man, Cal made a mistake by making Dwight his enemy. Dwight was the type of man who, if he kept his word, stayed faithful. He made careful to handle his business in an honorable manner because he was different from Ming. Cal was unaware of this and saw Dwight as a danger, which was arguably the worst thing he could have done for his company. In my opinion, Dwight will forgive Cal and work alongside him and Bill before the end of Season 2. Comparatively speaking, Bill was more sensible than Cal. If it didn't hurt his interests, he had no problem making amends with Dwight. Dwight has always desired a harmonious relationship between himself and the other gangs. Dwight realized that in order to effectively dominate, he would want strong relationships. It would be intriguing to watch how Dwight and his group fare at the conclusion of Season 2 and whether or not they are successful in keeping control of Tulsa. Let us know in your comments. And stay tuned by subscribing our channel to get more updates like this. Thanks, everyone.